Happy Wednesday, April 3rd, everyone. Hunter here again at Weather on the Go. And in today's weather forecast, we'll be looking at some more severe weather potential, especially across the East Coast as we go through today, followed by a significant snowstorm happening this week, especially through Friday timeframe. And we're tracking a new storm system this weekend into early next week that could bring more heavy rain and another severe weather outbreak to the country. We'll dive into the details in today's weather forecast. If you are new here and you like detailed but accurate weather forecasts across the country and the tropics this hurricane season, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and you get all of those forecasts moving forward. Also, be sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below. It helps out more than you know. So let's go all the way back here to Monday, April Fool's Day on April 1st, and it definitely was not a foolish day at all. We had 7 tornadoes from St. Louis all the way back toward the Tulsa region on your Monday, April 1st time frame. We also had 12 tornadoes reported and confirmed yesterday as well, and this number could grow. We had a couple tornadoes in northeast Illinois. We had a couple tornadoes near the Ohio River there in northeast Kentucky, southern Ohio there in West Virginia, a couple there in Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. So several tornadoes yesterday for a total of 19 total confirmed tornadoes during that Monday and Tuesday outbreak. Now, as we go through today, here's your 500 millibar height or vorticity signature. And you can see that that low pressure system is really tightly wound up here into the Great Lakes region, bringing down that cold air advection. You're likely looking outside in Wisconsin, northern Illinois, northeast Iowa, and seeing snowflakes out your window this morning, where the warm sector is across the East Coast. And that's where we're going to see that setup for severe weather from the Delmarva all the way down through the southeast coast there into northern and central Florida today. So the Storm Prediction Center's day one outlook has a slight risk for severe storms today from the Delmarva all the way down through the Carolinas here into coastal Georgia and northern Florida today. And that does include the risk for a few more tornadoes as well, especially up here into portions of southern Maryland, eastern Virginia, the eastern Carolinas, and then down there into portions of northern Florida. So let's look here at a precipitation map going through today. There's the cold air on the backside. We're seeing some snowfall here into the UP of Michigan, several inches accumulating up there near the Marquette region with some enhancement off of Lake Superior, and then some snowfall moving down through Wisconsin, northeast Iowa into northern Illinois, the Rockford region over here into Chicago and Milwaukee. And then we continue to see snow moving over into interior New England as well as we go into tonight as we cool our temperatures off. Upstate New York, eastern New York there, the Albany region seeing some heavier snows. That stretches over into Vermont and New Hampshire and even over into Maine. So the Portland region we'll likely be seeing some snow over there into Portland, Maine tonight. Then as we go into Thursday, more snow, heavy snow for Maine, Caribou, getting some very heavy snow as we go into Thursday. And then you can see on Friday, we continue to see some unsettled weather for southeastern Canada, but also interior New England and the Northeast on Friday. More heavy snowflakes over there. And our new storm system by Friday will finally be making its way into the West Coast as we go during that time frame. So let's look at our snowfall totals. Here are storm total snow accumulations across the upper Midwest region. Definitely seeing some lake enhancement up here near the Marquette, Michigan region in the UP. Up here, up to 30 inches worth of snow will be possible. And then through Wisconsin, northeastern Iowa, into northern Illinois, especially west of the immediate Chicagoland area, we could be seeing a 2 to 4 inch swath of snow across these areas. So maybe just enough to shovel. And then up here into interior New England, interior Northeast, from Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire into upstate New York, that's where we could be easily seeing a foot of snow, if not up to 20 inches of snow in some of these areas going through that Friday, April 5th time frame. So definitely shoveling out from some heavy snow. But by the time we get to Friday, though, on April 5th, return flow across the Great Plains, temperatures will be warming up, more spring-like temperatures for Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and especially down here into Texas as temperatures soar well into the 70s and 80s by the weekend. You can see that continues as we go into Saturday, April 6th and Sunday, April 7th. And that's out ahead of our next major storm system. Next pretty decent trough out here on Friday across portions of California and Nevada, moving into the West Coast there on Friday, and then eventually ejecting across portions of the Great Plains with a negatively tilted trough on Saturday. Negatively tilted troughs are notorious for producing severe weather in April and also just very dynamic weather in general, and you can see that continues to eject into the Midwestern regions by Sunday, April 7th. So what does this mean? Well, we have some active weather for the West on Friday. We have some heavier snows with the colder air still in place for the Cascades, the Pacific Northwest in general, and even the Sierras down here in the Pacific Southwest. We'll start to see some snow as well. Coastal rains for California and up the West Coast through Seattle there on Friday. Heavier snow setups again for Saturday across the Rockies, but the warm sector of the storm and that warm front will be lifting north on Saturday. So another Great Plains setup for severe weather will be possible there, and then going into Sunday, some of that precipitation will extend over there into the Midwest, the upper Midwest, and through portions of the Mississippi Valley there, with some heavier snows for Montana, Wyoming, and back into Idaho as we go into that Sunday, April 7th timeframe. Now let's look at Saturday. This could be our next big setup for severe weather here. Some Great Plains magic out here from portions of southern Nebraska near the Hastings region all the way down through central Kansas. This could include portions of Wichita down into Oklahoma here, so the Tulsa area, Oklahoma City, Norman, all the way down into the Lawton, Fort Sill region, and perhaps as far south as the Red River vicinity into Wichita Falls, Texas. That's where we could be expecting more severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center has already introduced a slight risk, a level 2 out of 5 for Saturday. And look at the dry line here. This is a nice setup here that you see in April and even May sometimes for severe weather. Very dry air on the backside here of the dry line. Ahead of that, we have moist air, dew points into the 50s, stretching all the way up there into perhaps southern, southeastern Nebraska there on Saturday. That's going to provide the lift to lift those air parcels to get those big, strong updrafts. And look at the instability. This is your Cape convective available potential energy for Saturday. While it's not off the charts, we definitely still have values here approaching 1,000 joules per kilogram, especially down into Oklahoma and the Red River vicinity into far northern Texas on Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. And that coupled with a pretty dynamic negatively tilted trough. This is your 500 millibar mid-level jet here, and you can see it rounding across portions there of the Great Plains, Nebraska, Kansas, back down into Oklahoma and far northern Texas. Very stout low-level jet. So there's going to be a lot of wind energy in the low levels of the atmosphere as we go into Saturday. So all modes of severe weather, including tornadoes, will be possible. So looking at this here, this is your lightning flash density for Saturday afternoon and evening, and you can see supercell thunderstorms developing there from Nebraska down into Kansas, Oklahoma, and far northern Texas. And these storms could be severe with large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes during that time frame. And then a secondary trough as we go into early next week will break off here across portions of California. That will be diving into portions of the Four Corners region by Tuesday and then ejecting across the Great Plains and Mississippi Valley by the middle of next week on Wednesday, April 10th. And this will provide another setup for several days perhaps of severe weather. And the first day that we're looking at with our second trough would be Monday. So areas in southern and southeastern Oklahoma into North Texas, into southwestern Arkansas, northwestern portions of Louisiana will be under that slight risk on Monday, April 8th for severe weather, and that does coincide with the total solar eclipse as well. So areas of Dallas-Fort Worth up again into the Lawton area, into Ardmore, stretching over there in towards portions of Texarkana, into the Shreveport region will be under the gun for potentially some severe weather as we go into Monday. And looking at the Monday setup here, dew points a little bit higher than the Saturday setup into the mid-60s down here, especially into East Texas, into southwestern eastern Arkansas and northwestern Louisiana, that will provide an even stronger reservoir of instability up to around 1,000 to perhaps 3,000 joules per kilogram. So a lot stronger of instability on Monday, but the wind shear will not be as terribly strong on Monday as it is on Saturday. So that's kind of the lacking factor here, is that the mid-level jet is really not terribly exceptional, but the low-level jet is still pretty stout. So we definitely have to keep an eye again on all modes of severe weather. This could include, again, large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes on Monday as well. And you can see supercell thunderstorms, line segments, perhaps some bow echoes developing here. Definitely seeing a volatile environment near the Red River as we go into your Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and even Monday night time frame on the 8th. And looking at Monday as well for the area wide for the total solar eclipse here, precipitation down into the southern plains, lower Mississippi Valley here, drier up across the Ohio Valley and much of the Northeast during this time. And looking at our cloud cover probabilities here, this is the probability of over 50% coverage of cloud cover during the midday hours of Monday, April 8th. And you can see a little bit of a hole here in our probabilities in southern Illinois into Indiana there, perhaps seeing the potential of that solar eclipse in that area. More cloud cover in the mid-Atlantic, so it will be tough to see that. And then into the Northeast, into portions of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, may have an opportunity to see that again up there. But again, if you live in the southern plains, in the lower Mississippi Valley, or parts of the mid-Atlantic, it will be tough to see the total solar eclipse on Monday, April 8th. As we stretch into Tuesday, April 9th, here we go again, and possibly another setup in very similar areas of severe weather. Would not be surprised to see another slight risk or higher of severe weather into the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley from Oklahoma and Texas, stretching eastward through Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi on Tuesday. Another severe weather setup perhaps on Wednesday. Again, very similar areas here, southern Missouri, Arkansas, down into East Texas and Louisiana. And then going into Thursday, maybe another severe weather setup again through Dixie Alley in the southeast. And then we continue with that as we go through the end of next week on Friday, April 12th, with heavier rain setting up here across portions of New England, the Northeast, with that cold front finally making its way off the coast with that system as we go into later next week. And looking at some very heavy rains as well with these next two systems. So going through Friday, April 12th, areas along and east of the Great Plains. So the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley, much of the southeast, up the East Coast, very heavy, very healthy rainfall totals going through that time frame. And the heaviest rains will be down here across the deep south, where we could be expecting areas over 6 inches worth of rain, especially into parts of Arkansas, Louisiana, into Mississippi here in and around the Little Rock region, into Lake Charles, stretching over to New Orleans and the Jackson, Mississippi region by the end of that week's time frame. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel down below for detailed, accurate weather forecasts, not only for the United States, but the tropics moving forward as hurricane season is drawing closer. Also, make sure to press the like button down below. It's the thumbs up button. It helps out more than you know, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe rest of their Wednesday out there.